What's going on? Just kind of grabbing my portable amp. There we are. Okay. Right. Welcome to this live stream. I found myself. Thank you. Basically, I did a couple hours of strength training today. I've been getting back into doing my sort of regular calisthenic training, and yeah, I found myself a little bit burnt out today, but I was like, Ward, you know what? I just want to feel into the energy of creating a stream space. No matter even if my mind is kind of like, Ward, I'll just kind of just chill and allow myself to just embody nothingness, which is also okay, I think. There's something beautiful about giving yourself permission just to be. That being said, if there's, a option to just play guitar and just channel a creative state or a flow state, I feel that's always a good option to chime into. Why, thank you. I'm from Canada and BC. Wicked. Hope you guys are having an awesome night so far. I love it. It's kind of just it's raining out here, so it's great to sort of just just feel into this kind of cleansing energy. Yeah. Shout out to any guitarists out there. You guys are doing great. Killing it. I find I have a lot of friends and people that I create content for, and just a lot of people that really just find, guitar is it's tricky sometimes. There's a lot of learning curves. There's a lot of creative blocks and challenges that you can kind of be met with along the way. But I think it's really important when you are sort of learning to engage in this kind of realm, right? To one, fundamentally have a lot of discipline, or understand more so your relationship with discipline, and letting yourself just really just genuinely love and appreciate the process. That is, say you find yourself just rooting yourself in joy, right? Letting yourself just really, I'd say, circulate the joyful, the emotionally cathartic, just the really vital elements of music, the sacred elements even, if you will. Letting yourself really connect with that. And I really feel too, the joyful aspects, sort of that inner child nature that is synonymous, I feel, with that sort of sacred context that you can find in music. Wicked. I've been trying to do this one melody from Demon Slayer. It's kind of like no, it's in high register. I don't know. Can't really do it. But But honestly, it just astonishes me just the sort of energy you can capture in these really higher realms of the flute, of wind instruments. Botched that ending part there, but yeah. Okay. I feel I have to angle that in a very particular direction. there's a very particular way. Interesting. Feel it'd be easier to probably plant my camera somewhere here. What's that? What's that? Sure, that's actually pretty good. Yo, what's poppin'? Welcome to this live stream. This will actually make it easier, I feel, to properly hit these. Sort of. I find it takes a lot of focus to kind of properly. Yeah, it takes a lot of focus to kind of dial in those pan flute notes. So if I'm sort of not doing it on the right angle or I'm kind of fucking around, they can definitely miss the right octave. Hope you guys are feeling inspired in your lives right now. Now I know for a period of my life, honestly, before I was more so taking artistry or taking myself more as an artist professionally, I honestly found being creatively inspired was it was a kind of struggle where it's like you'd have to almost get out of your head to allow yourself to just creatively be present. And almost like get out of that sort of that complex where you're trying to sort of validate yourself with your art. You know, trying to feed this sort of perfectionist complex. And I feel like once, if you do desire to be a professional artist and to go down that road and just really just, refine or master a particular creative realm, you'll hit a pivotal point, like a very pivotal point. You basically just do not feel the desire to basically validate yourself anymore with this. Oh Lord, it's getting foggy as fuck. Yo, thank you so much. But straight up, this is like a thing I don't really think about a lot, but when I reflect on it, I see this actually with a lot of disciplines. Be it if you're, say, training a martial form, or maybe some sort of athletic pursuit, or again, playing guitar, or doing some sort of creative realm. Personally, for me, it's around, I'd say about year 10 or 11. And it really took me that long to just not give a fuck, to not require the means of validating myself. And more so to almost like recognize and validate myself as an artist, be like, oh word, like I am devoted to this journey, and it's deeper than any sort of resistance or fear or disempowerment that I can meet along the way. It's like I kind of just, again, it's almost like the essence of what I really feel has allowed me to even just succeed as an artist. It's just not giving a fuck, like literally just being like so so much emphasizing the joy and the natural things that naturally resonate with me, and not really not caring about other people's opinions, other people's perspectives about what they think these things should be or what they should look like. It's crazy, but I have a lot of really talented artist friends that I find that a lot of them I find it's almost like you'll recognize that there's some people, like when you see people that are sort of on the other side of this, right? They've become a full-fledged artist. You'll never recognize how much resistance, how much strife, how much just how much turmoil and self-doubt they had to sort of transmute and conquer to get to this point where they're actually thriving and succeeding as an artist. And not even just about thriving, say, financially or whatever materialistically. It's like thriving in a spiritual sense, where they actually genuinely feel like they understand their role within this realm of artistry. So that's what I think for me. For me personally, I think I made more strides in the last 10 years of my quest as a guitarist, as a I don't know, as a composer, and as all these different realms of whatever I've created, right? In these last 10 years, I think I've connected more spiritually with the instrument, with the process of being a guitarist, with the process of being a sound healer, and etc. Where in previous years, the various years, it was almost like a very ego pursuit, where honestly, there's nothing wrong with this sort of egotistic pursuit, or just something that's not really deeply resonating with your soul. But very simply, you can lift creative blocks very rapidly. You can basically find profound amounts of inspiration if you know exactly how to connect with this creative pursuit. If you make it simply a soulful experience, maybe something that is truly aligned with your being, what your message is, what you really desire to be doing with yourself. That's where I find it's funny, where it's like progress is not linear, and it's certainly not one-dimensional, especially when we're talking about creative dimensions. I think it's actually bizarre when I thought about this a lot. Basically what I was speaking to is gets a bit metaphysical, but in essence, I genuinely feel like it's almost like you can make insane, I call them quantum shifts in your life, when you basically realize a deeper sort of purpose for things. And almost like if you recognize that certain things operate in such a way, I really feel this way, in a sort of place that's intuitive. It's almost like we're talking about creative realms, like trying to develop as an artist, or trying to allow yourself to really like find a deeper resonance with your philosophical context. I genuinely feel there are certain things in your life that basically will create quantum shifts, Basically, if you make a choice, whether it's to engage in a particular maybe expression, or maybe it's some thing that's inspired you so profoundly, or maybe you fall in love rapidly and you meet somebody that just perfectly complements your life, and you just feel like you've suddenly shifted more than you have in years, and then suddenly you have an awareness that this process exists. This is sort of what I mean, is things can rapidly shift in your life extremely fast when you have almost this distinct awareness of how much power you have as a creator, and how much you basically can influence very particular realms of your life. And honestly, what that looks like in the very simplest right is literally just boldly and unapologetically engaging in something that you really feel is resonant with your soul. I really feel like one's life can really change rapidly when you just live unapologetically and sort of allow yourself to envision extremely ambitious realities. It's basically like, I truthfully feel like as a young kid, the only reason I'm doing half the things I'm doing is because I personally, for some reason, just had these intense visions of what I wanted to be. What I just wanted to do. It's just sometimes insane. It was like, I just want to be a rock star. I just want to be this artist, or I just have these like visions where I was like, I know this is what I'm meant to be doing. And it's just like there's no limits. I love those chords. This is word, dude. That's like crazy. That's yeah. I had another dude comment. I don't even know what August Rush was, but I was just like, dude, that movie is beautiful. I've never seen it, but actually, that's such an incredible concept. I have a feeling it'd be so dope if that dude from August Rush, that kid, did become a guitarist. I have a feeling he did. I mean, how could he not if he's just like starring in a movie where he's. Word. Yeah, I almost feel like after the stream, whenever I do that end this, I'll probably just like check out this movie. This is a sign from the universe. new to this streaming dimension. That is, I've only been in this for like maybe a week and a half, and basically every single day on YouTube and pretty much every single day on TikTok since I got it. And it's, man, I have to say, I mean, it's an intense paradigm, but it's extraordinary what I feel, what one can create, and the ripples one can create with this, like this relationship, this portal, right? Because I'm a strong believer in portals, namely in like in real life, you know, when there's places that you go that radically shift everything. But yeah, I think it's wild, like not just for myself, but for naturally the receiver. There's this like relationship. I actually have never consumed. I don't consume much social media or like content really, but I mean lots of YouTube, but I've never really gone on live streams and checked them out as a viewer. But I think it's so profound what you can experience when it's intentional. I mean, I'd be surprised. I don't know if there's a lot of dudes doing similar. I'm sure there's guitarists out there, which is fucking awesome. Maybe I will chime in, see, so with some of these other guitarists who are YouTubers. See how what their life's looking like, how their energy is. But yeah, I mean, I find part of my intention with this YouTube channel is I basically want to make this my full-time gig, where I'm literally just like in the future, in a very bold bold future, I'm basically just going to be roving, like traveling anywhere, like be it I'm like, fuck, I'm going to go to Paris, I'm going to go to Peru, I'm going to go wherever, and do full-time YouTube, where I'm literally just streaming non-stop content, non-stop, just creating and making it more and more bold and interactive, with the essence of basically I just want to be a roving nomad. I've always really wanted just to be a nomad, where I'm just roving and playing guitar for random people. And it's basically what I do in everything that I do. Like, I work in film as well, and I also busk, so it's like I really love this capacity of just interjecting yourself in the universe. It just feels really good. Like, it's not easy, I'll be honest. Especially, I've only been really like learning to perform and busk, I would say this last like probably 2-3 years, like really committing to be like, I'm gonna push myself out of my comfort zone. But what I think has continuously brought me back to this place of being like, this is a part of my calling, is the amount of immersion. It's almost like there's a profound amount of fulfillment and a rewarding experience that is not quintessentially comfortable when you are plunging into a performance context, whether it's a live stream, a busk, an open mic, or whatever it is, right? Playing in front of a friend or something. Fuck, I like that. That melody was awesome. You know, it's funny, I find it's often when I'm just like chilling in the forest, playing guitar or pan flute particularly. For some reason, the pan flute is a very unique instrument. I find that very much almost like naturally sounds better in valleys, in nature. It's almost like it's literally an instrument that was made to be played in the middle of a massive, like massive valley. And it really astonishes me just the sounds that this instrument can make. Like yeah. And I find it takes, honestly, it's just a tremendous amount of focus. I feel like I need to get my Picasso bow soon. Go with that chord. Damn, that's a wicked chord. Wow, that's a great, that's a great key shift. And that's where, that's a great key shift. Wow, got Spanishy very fast. That's awesome. Damn, I love that progression. Like what? So it's just like this chord moving to there, and it's just like. It's funny. I was playing piano earlier, and I was trying to sort of like. I'm not very good at piano, or I've been only playing for like a year, versus like the 15, 16 on guitar, and it's like, I was trying to like do some weird key shifts. I was like, all right, like let's do some like simple key shift, and it just did not make sense at all. I was like, dude, this is impossible. I really feel guitar is very it's very nuanced and complex in certain areas, but it's so unique. Like it offers such a very unique way to arrange specific chords. I think string instruments as a whole, but to know the guitar and to get to know it and understand it, it has such a unique ability to access and emphasize chords particularly. Whoa, there's some sort of weird beetle. There's a beetle chilling on my lens. What the fuck? That tripped me out. Yeah, you can chill there, guy. Hope those highs. I think those those highs are a little bit penetrating. Sorry if that kind of clipped out or just created like a piercing sound to the mic. I gotta stay away from those highs. It's something I talk about a lot when I'm teaching people artificial harmonics, right? Artificial pinch harmonics. And I just think there's something so dope about, these realms of harmonics where basically it it's almost like you can, enter a harmonic where it's like, that's a harmonic, right? It's tonal, it's the same note, just taking some of the highs. But then you can actually make it atonal the more you just kind of go off kilter. Like that up there, that's a harmonic. That is an actual note. Like it's like, I don't even actually have it on my guitar fretboard, but that's a note. Like that's a note up there. That's just crazy to me. And then you can blend that in. That's kind of what I call third tier artificial pinch harmonics, where there's like 3 tiers. That one is basically 1, 2, 3, but it's wild what those third tier harmonics offer you compositionally. Like if you hear dudes like Alexander Misko particularly, he's very good at using these like very nuanced layers of artificial pinch harmonics. Andy McKee also does in some compositions, and Mike Dawes does it like freaking crazy, but it just blows my mind what the guitar can. It's probably more pronounced when I have my 3D printed pick, but so many rich harmonics. If there's anything you can take away from this at all, I truly feel it's like this part of current music Word. I don't. That's an interesting. I'm just gonna. Actually, yeah. Let's. So my least favorite current music I hear on the radio. How would you change? Word. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I don't listen to much radio, but sometimes my partner, she likes to like flip on the radio when we're like driving around, and I'll just be like surprised and be like, damn. Like I'll be like, damn. There's some like good music on there. Probably one radio station. I think it's like I don't even remember what it is. It's like 109.6 or some weird number, but man, a genre that I hear on the radio. If I were to think like genres of music that I hear in general, that I think are sort of like, I don't know, it's weird. I'll be honest. Okay, I've historically always thought pop is the most cringe genre ever, and I still, to some degree, I don't appreciate it like I would say appreciate progressive rock, alternative rock, punk rock, pretty much every single genre of rock or any electronic music genre. But the more I learned to compose music, like the more I was just like learning to songwrite and write lyrics and put together stuff, I kind of just got to this place where for some reason I didn't hate pop anymore. Like I didn't like it, but I was like, man, this music is like, if some people like it, if there's a good hook, if this is like melodically or whatever, it's a catchy song, like I don't know, like Taylor Swift or something. I'm not sure what she is, but that's an example. I think she's like country, but it's like I can appreciate it as a songwriter, as an artist. I'm like, okay, something artistically has gone right, and that's cool. People really, really resonate with that in some fan base. That's amazing. But man, genres that are just like, damn, I gotta really dig deep. I gotta dig deep to think of. So how would you change it, man? Okay. I'll be honest, bro. Like in truth, what I strongly feel about a lot of music, it's thought provoking. I mean, for real, dude. I think, hey, what I think about almost a lot, all music. Maybe I'm biased because I'm a guitarist, but I genuinely believe, like, as a songwriter, but in relation to like friends who are songwriters and music here, I think a lot of music nowadays could be a lot better if there was, I'd say, well well composed guitar basically, or piano, or just like, it's almost like I genuinely feel when I hear a lot of music, I'm like, that's great, like maybe like that's decent, but it's like it almost is like feels like it's a disappointment because of the way that they could have creatively woven in different realms of guitar. It's almost like they could have enhanced so many elements of this. Hey, what's going on, Kate? I had a feeling you're gonna pop it. I was honestly just gonna go to sleep, then I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna do a stream and just kind of see who shows up. But yeah, in answer to that, I really feel, man, I genuinely feel a lot of music, if it had a little bit of a little more refined of a guitar element added to it, like almost just like sort of similar to maybe some more harmonics, some more creatively woven guitar elements. Even if we're talking about like an electric guitar element, if you hear maybe some music like that's on the radio that's like has a really good lyrical bass, maybe it's like it's a really strong band dynamic. But I feel like a lot of guitar pieces that I hear, it's almost like they don't put enough room for the guitar to really breathe and really just like offer this like harmonic richness and this basically harmonies within the guitar. And honestly, when I look at artists that do a really good job of this, I see artists like John Gom and actually Jacob Collier, an artist that I only recently really began to resonate with. But simply put, I really feel that there's no reason that people should compromise the essence of guitar, the harmonies in a guitar, for whatever other elements of the music. If maybe they're trying to emphasize the lyrics more, maybe they're trying to make it simple so it's catchy, so it can sound good on the radio. But that's where I think maybe they're going wrong, is these bands are trying to create something that's trying to appeal the masses, opposed to just creating like a really good piece of music that I feel as a guitarist, again biased as fuck, it's like I think it should be harmonically rich. Like there should be really good harmony, there should be really good guitar harmonics and techniques that make this song something really fresh and special. Again, again, John Gomm is an amazing example of someone who's done exactly what I'm speaking to. Like, the dude doesn't compromise. That's wicked. I honestly, I remember when you were speaking about that, I was feeling like, I kind of feel bad for people that are just getting like popped with like notifications all the time, especially if I'm like constantly popping on streams and they're just like getting notified at the most random times. But that being said, if they like this content, then that's good. Also, I feel another really good example of sort of artists that successfully, I'd say, harmonize their music, you know, don't compromise any element of it. Excuse me, is Ichika Nito. Ichika Nito, Japanese guitarist, blows my mind every time. The dude is just very, a very beautiful composer. Thank you. I feel like after a solid, okay, we've been here for an hour, so it's been, after a solid 40 minutes, I was finally like, okay, I think I'm finally getting a good groove. Where I'm just kind of like, creating ideas, I'm like, oh, this actually sounds decent. For the first like 40 minutes, my mind was kind of just like, probably sounded okay, but mine was kind of just like, oh, this kind of sounds like trash. But it was like, I was just flowing with it, because I'm like, alright. It's all in my mind. But there were their points. There were some times that I was like, all right, I played a good riff. I don't know if you guys have ever seen, I'm sure you've seen, maybe you've seen like the movie, but not actually, or seen the trailer, but I've been obsessed with The Last Samurai. Like every part about it, like the acting, the cinematography, the music, movie scores. I've been absolutely obsessed with The Last Samurai. And the funny thing is, I've noticed, it's kind of like, for some reason, every like, oh, there's a moth inside. Oh, got in there. Basically, every odd period of time, I noticed the movie score compositions, they slip in my improvisations, where it's just kind of like it's on my mind. It's a beautiful feeling. Like it's just all those beautiful sort of like ascending and descending sort of like Japanese style, like I botched that, but it's like those notes, they're just so beautiful, so well placed, and Hans Zimmerman is just like such a genius. feel like I'm letting a lot of bugs into my room. Just gotta. 1 second here. Get out of here. I found it's interesting the way that the pan flute, like this particular Romanian Nights, I've noticed it's a very universal instrument, which kind of makes sense maybe when you think of it. It's like it's a Romanian instrument, but it has the ability to sound like a native instrument, but also like a Japanese instrument. But also, you can actually blend it really well with like jazz or like Rasta music or whatever. It's like, it just blows my mind how versatile of an instrument the pan flute is once you really, hone it. It's also wicked because it has the ability to blend or to bend notes. Sort of similar to the human voice, where it basically has that unique ability. You can like bend into a note and then bend out of it and then wiggle around with that sweet spot. You're basically creating microtones, which are such interesting things once you like really feel into it. Like Jacob Collier plays around with a lot of those microtones. That's kind of, I guess that's not technically a microtone. This might be though. This is an interesting experiment, I find. What's causing your acoustic to ring out? Yeah, dog. It's basically, there's two things. I mean, one is this. This is really helping with certain elements. It's a tone wood amp, so it's a preamp that stretches out the natural resonance. So it basically magnetically attaches to it. And it doesn't make it particularly louder, but it makes the resonance stretched out. And then I also have my Blackstar Fly amp, but that's just boosting the volume of the tone wood amp. So in essence, yes, the tone wood amp. Highly recommend. Because even it's wild how, quintessentially, if my guitar wasn't plugged in, I could probably hear maybe little remnants of those harmonics, especially these microtones, right? Or these harmonics right up here, right? But with the tone wood amp, it's literally taking the natural resonance patterns and then just stretching it out. And I've actually found over the years, I've basically developed a playing style that accents the tone wood amp. It's literally just like, there's certain elements of the tone wood amp that just really, like say tapping and chord ascending combinations and stuff like that, where it's like pretty much, maybe, I don't know, maybe with a lot of reverberation, you would sort of approach those. So yeah, it's a really beautiful tool. I've honestly, before like getting this tone wood amp, I would have never thought of preamps in my life really. But it's like, yeah, I remember just like, I think it was, who was it? Mike Dawes was using them a lot. Alexander Misko uses a lot, like a lot. So I think it was just a couple artists like that. Yeah, but I'm really surprised. It's like I'm not used to using or striking harmonics with zero thumb pick. I'm very used to having like a good edge. How long have you been playing? Overall, I've been playing electric. I started with electric and I played that for like 6, 7 years, and then I discovered the acoustic, and I'm playing that for 10 years after that. So total about 16 years, with about a couple years on and off break. But yeah, it's wild because I'll be honest, like, I mean, it helps. When I was young, like when I was like 11, 12, I had a guitar teacher. Like I had guitar lessons for like 2.5 years or something like that. And that was really awesome. But I personally found, weirdly enough, a majority of guitar, like most of guitar, strangely enough, you basically can teach yourself. Like it's kind of like, it doesn't make a lot of sense, especially in this like technologically oversaturated modern world where there's so much resources everywhere. Everyone's just trying to teach you how to learn guitar, and it's kind of like what my content is kind of gravitating around some rights. But the essence is you can just play guitar. Like if you pick up a guitar and you just like treat it like the ancient people would, where you just play the guitar and you feel into the contours, you notice the patterns. After like 10, 15 years, eventually you can teach yourself literally the most insane masterful stuff. You'd think that you went to some sort of conservatory for music or something, and maybe you would learn faster if you did that. I'm sure you would, but it's like you can seriously go very far teaching yourself, especially in 2025, I would say. But yeah, I mean, I'm by no means, I'm like, I'm getting there. I'm pretty happy with my progress as a guitarist. But man, I'll be honest, some days I like sit awake at night, I'm just thinking, I'm like, what would happen if I just like took like an hour or two a day and just started to like break down like insanely difficult like guitar compositions and started to try write down compositions, almost like took it even deeper. I mean, I personally at this point, I just kind of have fun with it. I'm not trying to like strangle this experience of being a guitarist. I'm trying to just like have as much fun with it and make it as joyful and blissful of an experience as possible. But I'm sure if I were to like push myself even further and be like, all right, let's just like study the guitar, it could get pretty bonkers. Like you see dudes like Marcin, forget his last name, but Marcin, yeah, I should remember his last name, but it's like that dude is a genius. Love that dude. Incredible style. I literally just love watching, and also dudes like Tim Henson and all those like guitarists that are professionals in this degree. You can see that a lot of those dudes, they studied music. They just really honed all these elements, and I feel like I'm getting super close to like having a fluency of the entire fretboard. But yeah, I guess it all depends on what you want to do with your life. It's funny though. I find, strangely enough, I think all things have kind of come full circle. Where it's like I personally, I'm in a phase of my life. Like I'm 31 right now, and I really personally just want to basically build as much business as I can. Like build from the root up as much freedom, like ability to say, like create a content creation businesses of multiple realms, like YouTube, TikTok, particularly those two, but also Facebook and school and Patreon, whatever, right? But get to a place where I basically just want to be free to do whatever I want. and play guitar for people. Where it's like, if I could just basically free up all my ability to make money, to be free, to make money whenever I want to, so I can basically just play guitar all day, anyways. Where I can just like, it's funny. It's like it all kind of comes full circle. Where it's like I was just like playing guitar, and and I'm just enjoying the guitar. But then it's like now I want to open and split into a new paradigm, so I can have all the freedom in the world. So then I can just do still just play more guitar, but even in a freer and more empowered context. Very nice. Yeah, yeah. It's let's see. So we're at hour 15. I think this is approaching my longest stream. Very cool. Looks like my phone's at 12%. What time is it though? Okay. Yeah, it's early as fuck. Man, I think I'm going to get my portable charger and plug in my phone so it doesn't die. So that would be a shame. I think I have a lot more streaming to do. Stay tuned to these messages. Okay. Nice. Time for that. Cool. We'll find a way. What is good? That's correct. Oh, I got this. Alright. This will work. Welcome. Welcome back, humans of YouTube. I don't know why, for some reason, my natural streaming voice or like announcing narrative voice is like literally the same voice from Gauntlet Dark Legacy. I don't know if you guys ever played that game. That, for some reason, that makes me happy. Where it's like I hear that voice, which is like it's that arcade game. Just inhaling all that Palo Santos. I was gonna mute my strings. what got you interested? Whoa, what an interesting question. I mean, shit. Damn. What got me into guitar? Like, shit. Well, hmm. I think, damn. I think I was like 7 years old, and I think I like talked about. When did I think it was like seven or something. I was like, before I was forming memories, I was talking about guitars. I think, like I saw one. I don't even remember what, and then I got an acoustic guitar, like a really like cheap, like half-sized one, gifted to me the next year at Christmas. So I was like 8 years old or something, and I had this like, yeah, this present that was in the shape of a guitar. And I was like, oh damn, and then just like, I didn't really know what to do with that. I remember I was just like, I just remember it's weird. I have these like flashes of memory as a young kid. I basically had like an inclination. It's almost like, I swear it's weird as fuck, but I almost think there's like part of me in a past life knew that I was here to be a musician, because it's like as a young kid I was really good at like art. Like I was good at like putting together colors and painting and coloring. Like it was a thing that I was just like natural. It's like, oh yeah, I could do this in my sleep. And I would create like elaborate like comic books, and I would just do all these crazy things. But as a young kid, for some reason I knew that I wanted to be a musician, where I was like, I know, and I knew I was not good at it, where I was like, man, I was like, this is going to be really difficult. But I knew that for some reason I knew that I had to do it. So yeah, I was like, there was this weird inkling that I was like, I knew I wanted to do art, but I knew that music was challenging and it was calling me. And then I got this guitar gifted to me at Christmas, which didn't sound very good, and I didn't sound very good, but it kind of, I think that's where it began, man. That's a memory that just like woke up, where I was like, damn. Like I think a lot about my experience at Lon McQuaid when I was like 11, 12 years old, but those early like 7, 8 memories, those were, that's a trip. Interesting. This is a Yamaha APX. Yeah, Yamaha APX Elixir strings, Elixir phosphor, light gauge. And like I was telling the other homie, this is a Tonewood amp. See, it says Tonewood amp. So it's a preamp attached to a Yamaha APX. I love talking about this build, because it's literally just like a preamp. So basically you have your magnetically attached preamp, and then I'm using this little baby, this Blackstar Fly amp, which basically is just picking up. I'm using it to like stretch out the sound of the Tonewood amp, because it doesn't make the volume any louder. So the guitar, yeah. That's a really, yeah, it's a really good sound. I find sometimes, I realized this about a year ago when I started developing a busking act, is it's almost like, it's a skill in itself to learn to calibrate an amp and a sound setup, and like all these little things. Like I literally remember sitting there and being like, man, why does my sound setup, as I'm roving, why does it suck? Like, why does it sound terrible? For like a period, I was like, damn, like I had so many sound problems, and like I was just like, dude, I gotta like literally take like a month and sit down and like study and play around with all these little like knobs and figure out the exact way to figure out, just how to get the best sound out of my amp and my preamp and etc. And it's not that hard, but for some reason, only when I was in the process of going out to perform, like in random places, did I really recognize that this was like really important. And then I began to see that, yeah, there's like it's basically just like almost a style of guitar playing. As it is a technique, you can find the technique to calibrate your amps and stuff. Yo, I guess any of you guys, I should remove that out of the way. Beautiful, yeah, yeah. Any of you guys play an Ibanez? Out of curiosity, this is like, this has been looming on my mind for a while. It's like I want to get a new electric guitar because I play a Jackson, but I'm curious if anyone out there plays an Ibanez. And I mean, I have a feeling, I know those are awesome guitars, but I would love to hear people's first-hand experience. I'm sure it's not an original thought, but I personally, part of why I really want to, like down the road, I'm stoked to just like really pursue content full time and be in a place where I can basically just afford to buy as many guitars as I want. I would love to have like lots of guitars. Very Last Samurai sounding. It's, yeah, it's a very, I feel it's a very attainable dream. It's funny because like I honestly never even really decided. I've always been like, man, I got two guitars, at least the guitars I have now, like that have upgraded. They're just like, those are just great guitars, like a Yamaha APX and a Jackson. It's like, what more would I need, really? I would think. That's always what I thought, but it's interesting recently where I've been just like really fine-tuning my electric and my acoustic playing, and I'm like, man, I could really, like, I really just want to get, I need to get an Ibanez, I need to get a Schecter, I need to get freaking various different types of guitar. I need a headless, what are those things called? They're just, I don't know, there's so many amazing guitars. Like, I think, yeah, it's an endeavor that could just be so enjoyable. And of course, then there's like harp guitars and cellos and freaking electric cellos. It's funny, I discovered like this interesting chord the other day. I think it was this guy. Yeah. Okay. That was a ride. Word. Dude, let's go. A Schecter, Damien Elliott. Schecters, honestly, they look so beautiful too. Like that's what I've been looking at some on Facebook Market, and man, they are beautiful guitars. Like some of the color palettes and the creation of them. Yeah. I think all I know for sure, to be perfectly honest, is that I really think I just need a whammy bar, because my Jackson doesn't have a whammy bar. That's where I think is like the next tier. I could see myself doing some really cool stuff with whammy bars. Dude, yeah, that's literally what I've been seeing. Is like there are some of the most like beautiful rich reds, like this kind of, yeah, like blood crimson mahogany auburn red mixes, and it's just like, holy fuck. I've almost like purchased people's guitars just for that quality. But I mean, I also think I need to own an Ibanez. Yeah, that was the first one. That was the right one. Yeah, but man, I find it's interesting. Like I've had friends pick up this guitar here, right? Like this setup, and kind of just like be astonished. Where it's like, I'll be honest, there's so many elements of like say maybe it's the elixirs, probably it's the tone ramp, right, or the mixture, where you can like there's so much accessibility, and it's almost like there's something I really strongly believe this, right? Is when you have say something like acoustic guitar with a really good setup or a good reverberation or something, it's almost like when you can really feel into the simple sounds. Like this is what I think is really powerful. It's like even just like that's beautiful, right? That's literally just one note, one just, and it's almost like it's like a gong in essence, where it's the resonance is so ripply, right? It ripples so far, and like the difference of that, where I feel it's like the guitar I've really come to notice it can go really far, where it's like every little note, or even it can just go really far. And this is what I really feel so beautiful when one say pulls the trigger and just like maybe gets like a preamp or just finds a really good guitar setup, right? It's like you can basically learn to fall in love with the simplistic elements of the guitar again, where it's like it doesn't have to be like ba-da-ba-ba guitar, maybe chord progressions that are just like insanely overt, where it's like you can just use the most simple, easy stuff, right? And it just sounds dope as fuck. Because that's what I really feel with a lot of music, at least this maybe realm of music, or the sort of the healing aspect of music, is like it can be so simple. It's almost like the key is to return to the original simple roots of playing music with a trained ear that can bounce around the map. But it's like you can make such simple elements and simple compositions sound really good. I'm also a huge fan of just elixir strings. Naturally kind of expensive, but definitely worth it. Hour 32. Hell yeah. Do you know how to playing God? No, bro. I wish. I mean, well, strange. I actually was thinking about learning that song the other day. Like it's like, dude. I don't know. I feel like I have a grasp of harmonics and chord structures. I could do it, but I've never tried. Never tried. But it's funny. I literally last week I was listening to that song over and over again. I was like, man, I think I should learn this song. Maybe this is the universe trying to tell me something. Yeah. I've never looked at the tabs, but I wonder if I could figure it out. Am I playing a scale? Sort. I'm playing. Yeah. When I don't even. I'll be honest. I'm basically doing like lots of like open harmonics, and then I'm doing like a major scale here. Let's see. So where is this? Yeah. I'll be perfectly honest. Like I know the major scales that kind of run on this capacity, but I couldn't say exactly what scale I'm playing. Maybe it's like if I'm starting here, it's like a B. Yeah. It's funny because I quintessentially the way I look at all these patterns. Like I've learned basically the modes, some of the scales, a lot of the basic patterns, and I learned these like a long time ago. But I hit a point where I kind of just see them as major and minor patterns, where it's like there's the it's either I'm playing a major scale or I'm weaving to these together, or I'm playing a minor scale, where it's like yeah. I'm sure with a little research I could zero on exactly the exact type of scale I'm playing, but I don't know. Imagine even if, let's see, if this is starting. I think I'm playing a G major scale, if I'm not correct. I know there's the G major and then there's the C major, or the C, yeah. I definitely play a lot of B and G scales. Yeah. uh. Very nice. Number 40. That's sick. Very interesting. Well, this has been a very phenomenal stream. It's funny, I was kind of saying at the start of the stream, I was kind of burnt out from doing strength training earlier. Very good session, but I was like, man, I'm just like gonna go home and pass out. But I'm just like, maybe I should just pop on and sort of see sort of the energy. Because it's interesting, I find this is part of what I love about exercising, but particularly strength training, right? It's like you can push your body, right, to a point of destruction where it's like, your mind is kind of burnt out, you're depleted, right? And it's interesting how you might get to this place where you may feel like your mind's kind of like, well, maybe I'll just rest or do nothing, essentially. It's interesting how I personally find that exercise is a perfect opportunity to basically conquer your mind's sort of game where it thinks that, well, maybe let's just do nothing, or maybe if it's like, it just makes like maybe some excuses to kind of just, like, it's not to say that you shouldn't just relax and enjoy yourself and enjoy nothingness if you desire to, but it's interesting how the mind likes to make excuses. It's like, and this is what I fundamentally learned a lot from training a lot of martial arts, is like, very simply, I come to see that my mind personally, for so many years, and still does naturally, it's almost like there's a never-ending thing of excuses that your mind can literally just think of. It can just be like, but this, that, but maybe this, or dehydrate this, or it makes all these strange sort of like obscure reasons to not do something, to maybe not pick up the guitar, maybe to not like go to stream, or maybe not go for a walk, or maybe not go do XYZ. And it's like, personally, in my experience, strenuous training or strength training, etc., is often one of the most profound ways to let that surface, to let your mind, create maybe excuses or reasons and look at them objectively. But what if I just see what's on the other side of that? You allow yourself to just basically just create a mind that sort of sees through or just feels into those excuses, that your mind might think, but this is a valid reason to not do this or to do this. But then it's kind of like, you just let your felt experience define that, or let your actions guide your experience or your reality. Amazing. I think my brain's kind of fried. I mean, not actually, but I'm just kind of like, this has been a great stream. If you guys have been enjoying this or chiming in, or just engaging, thank you so much. Honestly, this support means the world to me, and just to be able to hold space for this kind of experience, it's amazing. I really appreciate YouTube and the YouTube community, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this progresses. I mean, I've only been building this channel for about 2 months now, one particular with this exact niche, and it's, honestly, I'm excited to take this to a larger capacity. Thank you so much for chiming in. Wow. Maybe I'll pop on TikTok, right? See what they're doing. But much love, bless, a shit.